An old American lady went to see Swami Rama, who was an Indian teacher of Hindu philosophy of Vedanta. In a private interview, she recited her tales of domestic troubles to the Swami and wept for hours. Before her, he sat cross-legged with his eyes closed. She took him to be uncivil when a lady was weeping and crying so bitterly, and not a word of sympathy escaped from Swami Rama's lips. And Swami sat before her listening yet unlistening like a stone statue. These Indians are so impudent and proud, she said. As the lady completed her story of woe, the Swami opened his eyes, looked at her and said, "Mother," and then chanted his favorite Vedic mantra, Om. She said that there was a burst from his eyes. There dawned a strange new consciousness upon her. "I seem to have been lifted," she said. "From the earth I swam in the air, and as a figure of light I felt myself as the mother of the universe. All the countries were mine, all the nations were my children. I was so filled with joy that I must visit India. I must see where Swami was born and bred. I must go. So I must come. My joy never fails me. Oh, the word Om reverberates through my bones." Hello friends, welcome to my channel All Things Spiritual. Today we will talk about Om and its description as per the Mandukya Upanishad, and I would also like to thank you all, as this video marks a special occasion for our channel as we have crossed 1,000 subscribers, and I appreciate each and every one of my viewers who made this happen. I hope this is just a start and would break a lot more records in the coming weeks, months and years as well. Until then, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Om is a prana that you keep on breathing. Whatever you see or are able to perceive, your consciousness and its depth, the source of the very first vibration of the entire universe is Om. Literally, as Om is attributeless or nirguna, it can't have a certain meaning, but for the purpose of interpretations only, Om can be elaborated in many different ways. The syllable Om is derived from the Sanskrit word Omkara, and it is also called Pranava in Sanskrit, which means to bow to the divine with folded hands. It's the representation of the ultimate reality of the universe. In Hinduism, Om means Atman or soul, Brahman, the truth, the divine or the supreme, and also it means the union of the three gunas. The Upanishad perspective of Om. In the Mandukya Upanishad, the sages have said Om is the tool that can lead you to the ultimate reality of the self. The Upanishads are late Sanskrit texts which supplied the basis of later Hindu philosophy. The Upanishads are commonly referred to as Vedanta. Vedanta has been interpreted as the last chapters of the Veda and alternatively as the highest purpose of the Veda. The concept of Brahman or the ultimate reality and the Atman or the soul or the self are the central ideas in all of the Upanishads, and know that you are the Atman is the thematic focus. According to the Upanishads, a person has three dimensions of perception: the waking or the waker's world, which is the physical world that we perceive through our five senses; the dreaming or the dreamer's world, the inner thoughts that we perceive in dreaming state through the virtual senses; and deep sleep or darkness, seeking the causes or the experience of nothingness that we perceive in deep sleep. In these three dimensions, there is an undisturbed or pure consciousness that experiences all but still is unaffected from its consequences. This is the fourth dimension of our existence called the true self. The Mandukya Upanishad is the smallest of all the Upanishads, and it is also the most difficult one because in a short span of 12 verses, it covers the entire range of human consciousness, beginning with the waking state and ending with the supreme state of superconsciousness, where all objective perceptions and relations end, where all duality ends. Sri Adi Shankaracharya was of the opinion that if we were to study only one Upanishad, then it should be this one, because it captures all the essentials of Upanishads and is an explanation of the principle of Om as consisting of the three elements, which are A, U and M, which refer to the three states: waking, dreaming and dreamless you. The Brahman, the one absolute, the supreme self, the Paramatma, is manifested in the universe in the gross, subtle and in the causal aspects in one reality. The one Brahman becomes the infinite variety of changing and shifting things that we see and experience around us in the world in the various states of our consciousness. The Upanishad describes four states of consciousness. The first one is the waking state, the second is the dream state of sleep, and the third is the dreamless sounds or deep sleep, and the fourth state is the state of transcendental consciousness, the superconscious state where we rise above all the other three states of our normal consciousness and merge with the supreme absolute. All these states are but different aspects of Godhood, the last state alone being all-inclusive and ultimately the real, the absolute. The one Brahman is the God of all religions, and it is believed that the whole wisdom and the knowledge of all Upanishads is packed into a nutshell in these 12 verses of this Upanishad. It is also believed that this Upanishad by itself is enough to lead one to liberation and salvation. The word Om is the imperishable one. It is all that the entire universe is. An explanation of the same follows that Om is all that existed in the past and all that exists in the present and all that shall exist in the future as well. Om is also that which transcends the threefold division of time, the past, the present and the future. It is even before past and it is after the future as well. This whole universe is the whole world, is the eternal Brahman. There is nothing in creation that is not Brahman. Brahman is and everything is the self. The Atman is also Brahman. The self has four states of consciousness. The first quarter of the self is the normal waking state of mind, the experience of the reality common to everyone. This is the material condition. In this state, man lives his life with all his senses, his entire consciousness and his perception turned outward. Here he is aware only of the external world and he sees it with his eyes that are his external organ to perceive the world, and he or she enjoys the material, the physical objects of the external world in all their diverse variety. The second quarter of the self is the dream state of sleep, the experience of the subjective world of his own dreams. This is the mental condition. Here a person lives in a world of his own creation, in his own dreams. In this state, all senses of his entire consciousness and his entire perception are turned inwards within himself, and he enjoys only subtle objects which are the creation of his own mind, the world of his own dreams. The third quarter of the self is the state of dreamless and deep sleep. This is the intellectual condition. Here the mind rests and awareness is suspended. This state is the gateway to the other two states. One does not see any dreams, nor does one have any desires. There is no mind in this state. and therefore mind collapses and the causal body wakes up and man experiences his or her Anandmaya kosha. One becomes full of bliss and one experiences and enjoys only bliss, but the one who is in such deep sleep is not aware of this state. The fourth and the final quarter of the self is called Turiya, the superconscious state. In this state, there is nothing except the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Brahman. Turiya is neither inward looking nor is it outward looking. It is neither conscious of the outer world nor is it conscious of the inner world. It is also not a suspension of consciousness or awareness. It neither knows internal objects nor does it know external objects. It is not a mass of consciousness. It is neither knowing nor is it not knowing, nor is it knowingness itself. It cannot be seen and it cannot be understood and it cannot be named, described or defined. It cannot be caught or grasped. It is beyond the senses, the mind and the intellect and is beyond boundaries. It is without any distinctive distinguishing mark. It is the end of all activity, of all phenomena and of all relations. It is all powerful and all knowing. It is the Lord of all manifest existence and is present in the hearts of all beings as their inner controller and as their ruler. It is the source of everything. It is the beginning as well as the end of everything. This is the state from which all things originate and into which all things dissolve. As Turiya is the state of oneness and union and merging with the Supreme Brahman, that into which the world is resolved, that into which the world rests. Brahman is non-dual, infinite peace and love and always kind and gracious. It is the supreme goal of life. It is Brahman above all that we must all realize. This is the Supreme Self, which is Om. Om, though indivisible, has three sounds, three elements, which represent by each of the letters, the letter A, the letter U, and the letter M. The first letter A of Om is the first element and it stands for the state of experience of the outer world. This is where action and achievement are initiated. Those who know and understand this, they act in freedom. They fulfill all their desires, they achieve success and they attain eminence in the world of men. The second letter U of Om stands for the dream state of sleep or the experience of the inner world. This is where exalting and unification are initiated. Those who know and understand this, they uphold and exalt the tradition of spiritual knowledge and wisdom. They unify the diversities of life and look upon everything with an impartial eye. They become the equal of all. In the family of such people, everyone leads a spiritual life. Everyone is the knower of Brahman. No one is ignorant of Brahman who is born in such a family. The third letter M of Om represents the state of dreamless sleep or deep sleep, where the mind rests and where awareness is suspended. This is the state where measurement and merging are initiated. Those who know and understand this, they measure and know everything. They merge with the world and they comprehend everything. The word Om as one sound represents the ultimate state of Turiya and stands for the Supreme Brahman, the Supreme Self, indivisible, without parts, without elements, non-dual and benign, that into which the whole world is resolved, that into which the entire creation dissolves. It is one without a second. Thus, the syllable Om is the Supreme Self. Those who know Om as one sound, they know Om as the Supreme Self. They enter and merge themselves with the Supreme Self and they become the Supreme Selves truly. The symbology of Om holds a knowledge of the universe in its structure. You will be surprised to know that the ultimate goal of one's life is hidden in the symbol of Om. When Om is analyzed structurally, it has 4 parts: 3 curved structure, 1 crescent structure, 1 dot. The 3 curves of the Om, the first or the lower curve represents the waking state. This state is the broadened consciousness to come out through the senses. The larger size of the curve signifies the majority or the common state among the human's consciousness. The second or the middle curve represents the dreaming state or the state between the deep sleep and the waking state. This state brings the consciousness of the disciple inwards. By closing the eyes, the disciple can dive within himself or herself more closely. Third or the upper curve represents the deep sleep or unconscious state. In this state, the disciple does not desire or dream of anything. A dot at the top represents the state of Turiya. In this state of consciousness, the practitioner gazes neither inwards nor outwards or the two together. However, this state brings the disciple to the rest or peaceful or blissful state, which is the ultimate aim of all spiritual activity. This state also illuminates the other 3 states. A semicircle between the curves and the dot. The semicircle signifies the barrier between the state of the ultimate bliss and the rest of the 3 states. It prevents us from reaching the highest form of bliss. However, the gap between the semicircle and the dot represents that the highest state, the dot, is unaffected by Maya or the semicircle. All the area, therefore, below the semicircle would therefore represent the individual koshas or the bodies that hinder him to know the Atman directly, which is the state of Turiya. Please check my earlier video to understand what the hindrances are in knowing the self. The symbology of Om therefore validates this fact. So what would be the benefit of chanting Om? Is there any use of getting our frequencies aligned with Om? The main idea here is that getting your energies aligned with the primordial sound of the universe would take you back to the source of the sound, and Om contains the code for that pathway within it, as it can therefore pierce the chanter's subtle body of desires and it can unlock it for further progress. The progress then happens slowly as the desires are locked in the subtle or the sukshma body of the person are many. Along the way, the Om clears the chanter's bodily and mental elements and makes the way for the chanter to be able to chant Om more and more, and Om can then take over all of the desires of the person and over a period of time then make him only desire Om. Once that state is reached, the chanter can then enjoy a state of bliss and tranquility. How did you like the video on Om and its true meaning? Please do let me know in the comment section below. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.